Have you ever wondered how daily operations work in county government and who oversees its operations? Today we're going to meet a man responsible for making sure tax dollars are well spent in Washington County. Hello and welcome to Oakdale Update. I'm Frank Orsello. Our guest today plays a major role in overseeing operations in Washington County. He was the Deputy County Administrator before his latest role. Kevin Corbid, thank you for joining us on Oakdale Update.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, let's get started now. Tell us about yourself.
Sure, Frank. As you mentioned, I'm Kevin Corbid, the County Administrator in Washington County. I live in Stillwater with my wife, and I have one kid that's left, a ninth grader in high school. I have two grown...
Goes to Stillwater too, I'll bet.
Goes to Stillwater High School, yep. I have two grown children, one in St. Louis Park and one in college up at Bemidji State. I've worked for the county for about 20 years. As you mentioned, I spent 8 years as the Deputy Administrator before my appointment as County Administrator, and prior to that, about 11 years as the Department Head in the Department of Property Records and Taxpayer Services.
Okay. So what is your education background?
I have a bachelor's degree in political science from Gustavus Adolphus College down in St. Peter, and then I got my master's degree in public administration from Hamline University.
Okay. So Washington County Administrator, what does that mean? What does that entail?
Well, it means I work for the county board to carry out their vision and their policy for what the county service delivery should look like. I work very closely with all the 5 county commissioners, including Commissioner Karwoski from this district. We put together the county's budget. We look at adopting policies and procedures. I help manage the department heads that run the different departments in the county. I work closely with the sheriff and the county attorney, who are elected officials, to coordinate activities between the county departments and their offices of attorney and sheriff. So it's all of us working together to try to deliver services to all of Washington County in a variety of different areas.
Sure. So about how many employees are you talking about?
Oh, we're at about 1,300 full-time employees, give or take some. You know, we get a little bit larger in the summer when we've got some part-time or some seasonal type of workers at our county parks and other areas, but about 1,300 employees.
Geez, that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Does it get confusing sometimes?
It does. It's hard to remember all the names and faces, but I do
Sure.
the best I can.
Okay. So how many departments are you in charge of actually?
Yeah, there's 12 departments in the county, and we do a broad array of services. County government, that's one thing I like most about it, is the different types of things that we work on. So we've got departments in the human service, community service area. We've got a probation or community corrections department. The county sheriff and county attorney I've already mentioned. We do work in the internal services area, like IT, accounting and finance, the administration office, you know, our parks, our libraries. We've got roads in our public works department. So there's just a variety of things that happen in those 12 departments. Sometimes county government is referred to as kind of an administrative arm of state government. We just deliver a lot of services on behalf of the state of Minnesota.
Okay. Okay, now you mentioned the Washington County Commissioners.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 10?
Five.
Five? Okay.
5 county commissioners.
5 commissioners that each one's got a district that they
Right.
represent, and
Correct.
they rotate the chairmanship. Is that correct?
The chair rotates each year, that's
Okay.
correct. Yep.
Well, now, how you work with them pretty closely, I would reckon, right?
Yeah. I spend a lot of my time talking with each of the county board members, getting a feel of what they're thinking as far as the operations of the county. We meet as a county board at least 2 times a month, and most of the times 3 or 4. They approve all the contracts. They approve all of the operations and policy setting. And so I'm communicating with them on almost a daily basis about what's happening in the county and the types of decisions that we're going to be asking the board to make at each of their meetings.
Okay, so that the board is on a more of a local level, and then they come to you for overall, correct?
You know, I wouldn't say that. I think the 5 county board members, even though they're elected by district, all 5 of them really are in charge of the county. They together work together to make decisions related to the county. Now, the county board members oftentimes will defer to the commissioner who's got a project in their district or if an issue is coming up. But really, I think all 5 of them, including Commissioner Karwoski, sees himself as a Washington County commissioner, not just a District 2 commissioner.
That's good. So then I'm sure that it makes it cohesiveness a little better, isn't it?
Oh, you know, we are very lucky to have the type of board that we have right now. The 5 county board members work very well together. They are very collaborative in their decision making. They like to get to consensus and cooperate on issues. We have very few kind of contentious decisions. They make tough decisions. They make hard decisions, but they work pretty closely to get to a consensus position that they all can support. Because I think that's when the public will see us operating best, when there's, you know, that collaboration amongst the board members to do the right thing and to deliver services the right way.
So, I mean, these people aren't being selfish and trying to do their district, being trying to be favorable to their own districts?
You know, obviously, I think any elected official is a little parochial at times,
Sure.
and they want to make sure that their area is being treated fairly when it comes to the investments that are being made in our roads and our libraries and our parks and those kind of things. I think it's our job as staff to bring forward a balanced approach to how we spend money in the county. And if we do that, I think it gives the county board a good place to be, that they can kind of support the package, and it'll be good for their district as well.
Okay, so I noticed that there was they instituted a new program. The commissioners apparently were involved in this, where they send a social worker out with a call. Is this a police call, a 911 call type?
Yeah.
That's well, the mental health issues.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. I think you should talk about that.
Yeah, that's a really exciting program that we're starting, and I got to give credit to the municipalities like Woodbury, Oakdale, some of the others that have been pushing the county to do this. We have a crisis response unit, which is a group of social workers that work very closely on these crisis calls when somebody's having a mental health issue and they call and they need some help. We do know that oftentimes police are asked to respond to situations where people are having...
Aren't they the first responders?
They oftentimes are.
Often are the first responders.
And right now our crisis response unit works very closely with all those law enforcement, both from the cities as well as the sheriff's office. But this is a next step, I think, where we're really going to embed our social workers more closely with city police departments, more closely with the county sheriff's office, so we can have a co-response kind of model, that if there's a mental health situation going on, you might have a social worker, or you will have a social worker with that law enforcement official going out to that scene. And we think that's going to lead to better outcomes for both law enforcement, our social workers, as well as the individuals that are involved.
The logistic involved in that, though, might be, got to be a little tough. I mean, if it's happening at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, there isn't going to be a social worker on duty necessarily, is there?
They'll be on call. They're going to be on call.
On call.
Our crisis response unit is on call 24/7. We will be responding in those situations. You know, we just know that it's going to be a better outcome for all involved if we can have that social worker working very closely with law enforcement on calls that include a mental health issue.
I think that's a very good thing to do, don't you? I mean,
It is, and this is just the start of it. You know, so we're adding 2 social workers in this embedded model. One's going to work very closely with Woodbury. One's going to work very closely with our sheriff's office right now. We hope to be able to expand that program after we get it up and running and see how it's working. But it's happening elsewhere too. So this is not a brand new model. We have learned from others that have done it. And we think it's going to be a very important improvement in Washington County and how we respond.
Oh, that's great. Okay, let's talk about some of the things that are going on in Washington County. We got pavement rehabilitation and construction projects going on.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a couple of those?
Every summer it seems like there's a lot of traffic. Even getting here today, there was some road
we
work
almost
here
didn't make it.
outside the building. And,
Yeah.
There's no different in Washington County. There's a couple very major projects happening. Manning and 36, our interchange work we're doing. For those that are familiar with the Hadley and 36 interchange that was done a couple years ago, it's that next step in making that Highway 36 corridor more free-flowing into Minneapolis.
Just as a side, that's a 3 roundabouts in that area. I think it worked out so well.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
Yeah, we're very happy with the project there. And the Manning interchange is going to be a little different. It's not going to be the exact same kind of design, but we fit those designs into the space that we have and how we need those interchange to operate. So, and there's also been a couple other very important projects. We finished the pedestrian bridge that connected Inwood Avenue and Radio Drive, crossing 94.
Oh, yeah.
There's been some improvements on Ideal Avenue in Oakdale, on the eastern side of Oakdale. There's another project next year to do the southern portion of Ideal. And so there's a lot of things happening in the county on the pavement side. I will tell you that's an area where the county board has put a lot of effort. Commissioner Karwoski and his colleagues are looking for ways to make sure that our roads are solid, right? We've got good roads that are in good shape and then don't need a lot of extra repair. If you let them get too bad, they cost more to repair. And so they've looked for ways to put more money into that road, both on pavement preservation as well as the expansion. You know, the county is growing. It means that we have to add lanes in some areas, turn lanes, center turn lanes, left turn lanes. So all that kind of activity is happening each construction season.
Sure. Just for curiosity, how does that fit in the taxpayers? Who pays for all this? Well, I mean, we do obviously, but how do you decipher where the money goes, which projects?
Almost every project that the county does is a combination of funds. Most will have some city or local funds along with the county resources, but many will have state funds and federal funds with them. So like a big interchange project like Manning Avenue and Hadley Avenue, that was a combination of federal, state, county, and city money. On just county projects, there's usually a little bit of city money in each of those projects. And the county gets that either from the property tax levy or the local option sales tax, which helps pay for the road improvements in the county.
Okay, so we got to go to the big guy, COVID-19. COVID-19. Are you glad that's over? And I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty
I'm not sure
over.
It's over.
Yeah, we're sure.
Yeah.
But it just must have just made your hair even grayer than it was, right?
Yes, yeah, it was difficult. But I can tell you a couple things. I think from a county organization, we're very proud at how we responded. Our public health department did just an excellent job of responding and helping the county as an employer respond and making the changes we had to, but also helping the community through testing, through the vaccine clinics when those things became available, the contact tracing our public health staff was involved with. And so, I'm just really proud of the response that the county did. I think we balanced the need for safety of our employees, safety of our customers and clients, but also continuing to provide services. That was key through all of this. We knew that even though we might not be in the same offices that we were before the pandemic hit and we were all told to go work from home, we still needed to provide the same services.
Sure.
So there was a lot more being done virtually. There's a lot more being done out in the community than we did before. And we worked really hard to make sure that when there were face-to-face service delivery needs, that we would be doing it safely, right? So we put on all the barriers and the protective equipment.
Yes.
So COVID-19 was difficult. Our response is not over. We think there's some lingering effects both at the county level as an organization as well as in the community that we'll help respond to. And our public health staff certainly haven't stopped. They are continuing to encourage people to get vaccinated. That certainly is the best way to kind of protect yourself against getting COVID-19. And I know they're certainly watching what's happening with some of these variants, and they'll be prepared to give the county board the advice that they will need to make decisions around how we continue to operate.
So let's talk about some specifics.
Yeah.
What about the courthouse? I mean, that's a bustling place, generally speaking. So how did you work that one out?
Yeah, in the beginning, I think like most employers, we moved everybody out of the courthouse. So we closed the access to those, to make sure that we knew what we were dealing with. We transitioned everybody to working remotely in the county for the most part, with the exception our jail stayed open, right? They came in. Our snowplow drivers, this was March, right? So they were still coming in. Our license centers were coming in for a while until they closed those through the Department of Public Safety. So we had some folks still coming in, but the folks that we could have work remotely, we got them remotely. Our IT department did an excellent job making sure that we had all the security in place so people could work from home and our data be protected and all that kind of stuff. So that happened in the beginning. I would say though, Frank, that what I think I'm most proud of is the way we transitioned quickly to getting the county courthouse back open as quickly as we could. Our license centers reopened using appointments. Our parks reopened and doing some things to make sure that they were safe. But the county board was really focused on making sure we provided services to people. One of the strange things that happened, or not strange, but the silver linings maybe, is that a lot of people found the county parks, right? When there was nothing else to do, our county park usage went up astronomically. And so we did a lot of work to make sure that there was safe access in those parks during that time. People could get outside, get some exercise, clear their minds and heads, right?
So you made a point of keeping those open?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Oh, you did?
Yep. And so we wanted to make sure we balanced this. We knew that we needed to provide services through this. We couldn't just shut down and give people no access to county services. And we were talking about food support for people, healthcare support for people. I mean, these are the things that were still needed during this pandemic. And a lot of our services grew in need during this time, didn't lessen. And so we had to make sure that we were providing those services quickly after the first run kind of came through.
I know I had to go get my driver's license. And the way they had that worked out, I mean, you wait outside until you're called. And I think people accepted it pretty well.
Yeah.
You usually get angry that you have to sit and wait in line. But I think people were pretty attuned to it, don't you think?
I do, and I think people were great as far as being patient with us as we transitioned. I think our goal now is we need to go back to where we were as far as efficiency and service delivery. I mean, our license centers, the appointments were great, right? People liked the appointments, but we can't serve as many people that way.
Right.
So you might have an appointment way out into the future that it just took too long. And so we need to transition back to some, quote unquote, normal ways of doing business. But we've learned some things. We've learned that we can do business a little differently. We need to take the things that we've learned, the good things that we changed in the pandemic, and keep those and put those into our normal delivery models so that we can come out of this better than when we went in. And that's our goal as a county.
Sure. A lot of business had to close down. A lot of businesses. I mean, there was a couple in Oakdale. They just opened the business, and then this happened. They had to close the business, and they haven't reopened yet.
Yeah.
So what did that do for income for the county?
On the income side, it's usually property tax collections, right? That's the big thing. The county board did a couple things right away when the pandemic hit. We gave people longer to pay, so we extended the deadlines to pay. The May date went to like July, I think, and the October date went later in the year. So we gave some folks some more time. Yeah. So it did mean that we had some delay in getting our tax revenue in, but at the end of the day, our collections were very similar to what they were in a typical year.
Really?
Yeah, and so I think folks, I think part of it was that by that time when the second payment happened in 2020, some business had gotten some help with PPP loans or through a county grant that helped them pay their utilities, their property taxes, those kind of things. So that helped, I think. That helped, I think. But for the most part, the county revenue on property tax didn't take a big hit. Where we did lose some money is our license centers. We didn't raise nearly as much revenue through fees for services. We didn't get as much money from the state for our road projects because the gas tax was down. Leased motor vehicle sales tax was down. So their interest earnings went way down when the amount that we could make on the money that we have in the bank went way down. So there was a financial impact, but on the property tax side, it was pretty steady.
Okay, well, we're almost out of time, but I just want to check in on what's going on in the future for Washington County. What do you got lined up?
Yeah, a couple big things. One, the Gold Line Bus Rapid Transit project is moving along, and we're meeting some great milestones there. We're talking about adding a Western Service Center here in the western part of the county. We have a service center right now in Woodbury, but it's very small and doesn't kind of serve the public and the density.
What do you mean
the
a
public.
service center?
Where the license center is, where our workforce center is. It's that building just to the south of the public safety building in Woodbury.
Oh, yeah.
That's just outdated. There's not enough parking. There's not enough space in there. So we're looking to add a service center like we did in Cottage Grove and Forest Lake, have one on the west side. So we'll have our service centers in the kind of the four corners of the county when we get that.
So are you going to build on the site or near it?
We aren't sure yet. We're still looking for a site. We'd like to be on the transit line so that there's some access to services on the bus rapid transit line, the Gold Line. But we're still looking for that. And then I think you hit on it too, is that The big thing that's challenging us is we've got a growing population in the county, so service delivery needs are increasing. We've got an aging, myself included, right? An aging population in the county, but it's better than the alternative, right? An aging population, so that's changing this county service delivery model. We've got a diversifying population, and so we need to adjust to that. And then I think it's how we adjust to the post-pandemic normal, right? What does our service delivery look like post-pandemic? And we learn from what we've taken, the good things we can take out of the service delivery changes, match that to what we were doing before, and hopefully we'll be better coming out of this pandemic than we were going in.
Mm-hmm. Boy, I'll tell you, I think the county really rose to the occasion with this COVID business. I mean, the things I had to be involved in kept going. I mean, it wasn't fun or anything, but it kept going, so that worked out well.
Thank you for saying that, and I'll pass it on to the board members.
Absolutely.
They were key. I'll pass it on to all 1,300 staff members because we couldn't have responded to this without each of them doing their part to make sure that we could continue to provide services.
Absolutely. Well, Kevin, we are out of time. That went pretty fast, didn't it?
It did.
It was about 25 minutes. We got it. We got her under the wire. So thank you so much, and you're doing a good job. You really doing. How much longer are you on that job?
Oh, about 16 months is all.
Really?
So I started about a month before the pandemic hit, so it was really a baptism by fire in the new role.
So your term is up? I mean, are you retiring or what?
No.
No, I meant, that's what I'm sorry. That's
how long do I have to work? Many years. I mentioned that kid in high school still, right?
Yeah. And then college and all that. Yeah, you still have to make a buck.
Yeah.
So you're not under a contractor necessarily, are you?
No. I'm an at-will employee, which I work for the county board, and so I will work for them until they tell me I have to go.
Okay. Or you go find another job.
I'm not going to do that. I love the one I have.
You're locked into this one.
That's right.
It's a good county. It's a good county. I just enjoy the heck out of it. I really do. I love the cities and the county. It's just a neat place to be living. It truly is.
I agree.
Okay, we're good. Okay, Kevin, thanks for joining us on Oakdale Update.
You're welcome.
The Oakdale Farmers Market is happening every Wednesday through October 13th. And we leave you with a look at why the market attracts residents and visitors year after year. If you miss us on air, make sure to find us online. Thanks for watching.
We love farmers markets, and we just moved to the area, so we're really thrilled that there's one right down the road from us.
It's a gorgeous day. You can't ask for anything better. Are you buying or is Grandma buying? You're buying. There we go. There we go. Out of 10.
We are based out of Hudson, Wisconsin. This is our 7th year here in Oakdale.
I just stopped here to get some tomatoes.
This market runs through October 13th this year, 2 to 6:30. Just come out. It's a great time just to be outside, get away from the desk, come by on your lunch break, grab some lunch from the food trucks or whatnot too.
I'm actually here for this guy today. I had his the beef brat, the Philly cheese. Loved them. I need another package of those, and surprised me with another one.
Dill, sunflowers, we're gonna get snap peas, maple butter we're excited to try. That looks really good.